Hello, I'm Dave, and I'm going to talk you through how to put your TrimLine Canopy together. And this is Maddie, and she's going to show you. Let's get started. Okay, first we'll do the quick version, which can be used as a refresher course or as a table of contents if you skip to the time codes displayed on the screen. Here we go. Thumb screws in place. Connect your purple tipped poles together and put them on the left and the right side of your space. Then connect the regular non-color coded poles and place those at the front and the back of your space. Slide the rafter bases onto the purple poles, facing up and in. Slide the T-joints on the front and the back poles, covering the center line and facing up. Get your corner pieces ready. Thumb screws face down, rafter bases aligned with the other rafter bases, but don't put these on yet. Slide on any kind of optional joints that you might have, then click your corners together. Put the 26-inch risers on top of the T-joints, then the ridge joints on the top of those, then another long standard pole to complete the roof ridge. Install the rafters, starting with the metal tip poles facing up, non-metal tip poles in the middle. Flop that canopy roof down on the front of the ridge, drop the vent over the edge, unfold it and do the same in the back and then the sides. Do a Velcro or two to keep it in place. Get those legs ready with feet and stay bar joints. Put the legs where they're ready to go. Now remember, the stay bar three-way joints are usually in the back and the stay bar L joints are usually up front. Now lift the front and click the legs in. Do the same for the back. Go around and finish the Velcro. Put your stay bars on. Easiest to start with the back, then do the sides. Stake it down because you're a responsible adult. Zip your sidewalls to the roof. Straps go on the top. The long straps are indoors, the short straps are outdoors. Zip the edge of the walls together. Fasten the corner Velcro over the walls. Tighten up the thumb screws, and you are now ready to install mesh panels or whatever it is you do with your trim line. Okay, that was the quick version. Let's slow down and get into some more detail. If this is your first time setting up your trim line, you'll want to first go around and stick all the thumb screws into the joints. Not all the way, just get them started. Now we're going to identify the different types of poles. You'll want to find the 4 bars with the purple tips, 2 males, 2 females, connect those to make 2 long poles, then place them in the left and right side of your space. The poles without a purple tip are the much more common ones. They also have males and females. So put a male and a female together at the front of your space and another set at the back of your space. Next, we'll find your roof joints. You have 4 corner joints and 4 rafter bases. The rafter bases will slide onto your purple poles with the small tube on top facing the center of your space. You'll slide those on and then click them onto the snap button that's partway up the purple pole. On the front and back poles, you'll install these T-joints. Slide them over to the middle until they cover up the center line. Then click it into place. Make sure it's pointing up. Next, let's talk about these corner joints. First of all, the tube with the thumb screws is going to point down. That's the one that will eventually attach to the leg. Now notice that there are 2 different kinds of corners depending on which way the small tube on the top is facing. That tube is a rafter base, and it needs to align inward in the same direction as the other rafter joints that you just installed. So before you click the corner joints on, it's easiest to rest them on the ground where they go. Now is the time to slide on any optional joints that you might have, such as French walls, doorways, or the easy riser. Slide all of those on now before you connect your corners. When it's time, go around and click all of your corner joints onto the bars, creating one solid roof square. Next step is to install the roof ridge. This will be the high middle part of the roof. You'll need 2 of the standard poles and 2 of the 26-inch poles. Those 26-inchers will go on the T-joints in the front and the back, and then the ridge joints with the black arrow pointing down will click onto the tops of those riser poles. Grab another long male and female and connect them to one long pole, clicking one end into each ridge joint at the top. It's now time for the PVC rafters. Some of them have a metal tip on the end and some of them do not. Slide the ones with the metal tip onto the rafter base, but with the metal tip pointing up. Then take the remaining rafters with no metal tips and slide those onto the metal tips of the others. The front and back rafters go through the ridge joint, the rest just kind of go over the bar. Bend those into place like so. The roof is now framed and ready for the canopy top. Easiest way is to rest it on the ridge bar toward the front, and then flop the vent down over the edge. Then unroll the canopy towards the back and flop the other vent off of the back. Unfold it to each side and make sure the whole thing is roughly in place. Now, to make sure the wind doesn't undo what you just did, you might want to attach one of the Velcros on the front and the back. And while you can reach it, you might want to look at the weather and decide if you want the vent open or closed. Just roll it up and let the Velcro hold it in place. In this segment, we're going to show you how to set up and operate the leg pulls. So a standard trim line is 7 feet tall, but if you opted for an 8 or 9 foot extension, the way to do that is to take one of these legs and just put the extension on top of it. This is a 1 foot extension, making mine an 8 foot canopy. But since we're making a movie about a 7 foot canopy, we'll just pretend we didn't see that. Line up the snap button at the very bottom with the row of holes. Then start pulling the inner nested section out of the leg, just about 6 inches at first. Find the hole located about 12 inches from the top of the leg, and keep pulling the inside section out until the snap button clicks into that hole. This is the travel position. Slide the stay bar joints into the bottom section of the legs, with the white arrow pointing down. They don't snap on, they're free to spin. Slide the feet onto the bottom of each leg, rotating until the snap button on the leg snaps into the hole on the foot. At this point, the leg assemblies are ready for transport or storage. If space allows, there's no need to ever remove the joints between shows. Later, when the leg is attached to the canopy and it's time to extend it to full height, hold the footplate against the ground, push the snap button in, then lift the section upwards until a different snap button pops out from the bottom section. You can let the outer part of the leg rest on top of that button temporarily. This is the rest-stop position. It's intended to be a temporary position while setting up. To find the snap button that's intended to set the height of your canopy, rotate the inside tube until a snap button pops out of the uppermost hole. This is the extended position. You should be able to compensate for uneven ground by choosing different heights if needed, using that snap button. If at any point you can't find that button inside the leg, just remember that it's aligned with the bottom button that's holding on the foot. Now, when it's time to raise your canopy roof to its legs, there are a couple of ways. You can attach the optional Easy Riser kit, or you can simply ask a neighbor to help you. It'll only take a minute. In this version, we're going to use a neighbor.
Hey Dave, can you give me a hand over here?
Absolutely.
Lift the front half of the roof up. The legs are just going to click right into the bottom of the corner joints. Don't worry about the thumb screws yet. Then do the same for the back. Now remember, the stay bar 3-way joints are usually in the back, and the stay bar L joints are usually up front. This is a good time to go around and secure the Velcro straps to the rest of the bars. This is also a great time to think about other things that might be harder to do with a step stool. Maybe lights, power cables, signage. You do you. Some people will do this while the canopy is low so that it's easier to reach, and some people will wait until the canopy is raised to its full height so that walls don't get stepped on and aren't in the way. You'll now take those remaining long poles and connect the males and females to make stay bars. It's easiest to start in the back because of the 3-way stay bar joints, and then do the sides. Just slide those stay bars into the stay bar joints, click them into place, and then do the same for the left and the right side. To put your sidewalls on, first find which end is up by finding the button straps at the top of the wall. The longer strap is going to be indoors and the shorter strap is going to be outdoors. Now simply zip the wall onto the roof. Later, if you want to roll up your wall, the longer strap will go under the wall and snap to the shorter one. Once your walls are on, you can Velcro them to the legs, and you can also zip the edges of the wall to the next wall. You just start at the top and zip it down. After your walls are zipped, you want to use the Velcro corners of the roof to make sure the corners are properly covered and everything looks nice and pretty.